Okay, good tavach, everyone. Nice to have 27 Zoomers starting with us bright and early. As we welcome in Michal, Akta, Aaron Swade, Harrison Kletzel, Berish Kesman, Saba, as we welcome in Avram Shankman, Ben Sion Cohn, Yisrael Fisher, Nachman Chapler, Irving Fishman, Mark Frankel. Good to have you back. Mark, Mel Zachter. And we welcome in Yitzchak Asbel from Tannersville. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. Welcome to the family. Moshe Lehman, Eddie Chazan, who's not in a car. Dr. Block, Eddie Holtzman, Rabbi Kranz, Menachem Yamansky, A.B. Spry, Shelley Zeitman, Ilya Shutman, Yitzi Muller, Moshe Jacknin, Chaim Braun, Abba Steinatzer, David Helfgott, and Kolo Loshin. And we are dedicated by Baruch Yid and family, Nishmas Esther Basyani, Yaakov Chaim and Abba, Avram and Shmuel HaKaim. We're dedicated by Aaron Swade and family, Le'ilui Nishmas Chana Bashmul and his sister Freda Bashal. We're also dedicated by Shimon Deer for the Refuah Shleima of the Chayli Adaf in particular and Chayli Yisrael, but Mark Frankel Refuah Shleima for Miriam Sarah Bas Tzipora, Beirich Golwas for HaKaras HaTayv for Hashem's kindness to their family, and the Schus Refuah Shleima for Gans Klal Yisrael. We learned from Aishver Avigdor Aryeh ben Rivka, and we learned for Marshall Castle's brother Mordechai ben Sarah Yehudis. They should have a Refuah Shleima b'Sech Shechel Yisrael. I got a message over here that Rabbi Kranz is having a problem hearing me. Is anybody else having a problem hearing me? No, I didn't think so. No, okay. Now, Sandy Grunfeld has just joined us as well. So we are holding on the top of Daf Hamid Aleph. Umenayin sha'af b'shtar. We said that a woman could be acquired not just b'kesef and bia, but also with a shtar. So how do we know that? So the Gemara says, well, v'dinu, it's a kal v'chaymer. O ma kesef she'enoi moitzi. Ma the kesef, which cannot cause a divorce. Machnes, you could marry her with kesef. Shtar she'moitzi, a shtar that could affect a divorce, enoi din she'machnes. It surely should be allowed to be used to bring her in. Says, well, but kesef has more sweeping powers. Mala kesef shekein poidim by hektish umaisus. Kesef, you could redeem hektish and ma'aser sheni. Right? In the first, second, fourth, and fifth year of the Shemitah cycle, we bring ma'aser sheni. You could redeem ma'aser sheni, and you could redeem hektish with money. It's time of b'shtar she'ein poidim by hektish and ma'aser sheni. Why? The chsiv and asan kesef become like only. Money could be used to redeem hektish or ma'aser sheni. Says the Gemara, yeah, but still, amakra v'yatza v'haisa. This is the famous pasuk that juxtaposes divorce to Kiddushin. Yatza is divorce, going out. Haisa zavaya is Kiddushin. Makish havaya liyitzir, so we juxtapose Kiddushin to Gerushin. Ma yitzir b'shtar, just like the divorce is with a shtar. Afavaya nami b'shtar. Kiddushin could also be b'shtar. Says the Gemara, well, if that's so, then we should say the reverse also. V'akish nami yitzir l'avaya. We should juxtapose divorce to Kiddushin. Ma'avaya b'kesef, just like Kiddushin is with money. Af yitzir b'kesef, you should be able to divorce with money. Amar Abaya. Abaya says, Yoimru, people will say, kesef machnas, kesef maitzi. A coin could cause Kiddushin and a coin could cause divorce. Saneger yasa kateger. The defender could become a prosecutor. So the Gemara says, so you say the same thing about a shtar. Yihachi shtar nami. A shtar could affect the Kiddushin and Gittin. Yoimru shtar moitzi, shtar machnas. A shtar could have a divorce and a shtar could make Kiddushin. Kateger yasa saneger. The prosecutor could become the defender. Says no, there it's not the same. Because a shtar Kiddushin has Kiddushin written on it, and a shtar Gerushin has divorce written on it. There it's different. Milei, says the Gemara, Milei the high shtar lechud, or Milei the high shtar lechud. The words of the shtar Kiddushin is different than the words of a shtar Gerushin. So it says Gemara, but hachanami high kaspa lechud, high kaspa lechud, money that would be used for Kiddushin is accompanied by words of Kiddushin, Hariyat Mekudeshesli, while money that would be accompanied with divorce would be accompanied by words of divorce, that you should be divorced. However, Tiva Miyachadu, the coin is the same, because the coin doesn't have anything written on it, so it's not likely that you could use a coin which is the same to affect Kiddushin and to affect Gerushin. Rava says, you don't need to come on to that. Svara, it's based on a pasuk. Rava says, Amakra, v'kosav law. You should write to her. B'ksiva miskareshes, she's only divorced with writing. Ve'ena miskareshes b'kesef. Says the Gemara, but maybe we should darshan ve'ema b'ksiva miskareshes, ve'ena miskadeshes b'ksiva. Maybe we should say that the v'kosav law that's written by get comes to tell you it's exclusive to get, that she's only divorced with writing, but she's not mekudeshes with writing. So the Gemara says, but aksiv v'yotzav ha'isa. It says makish yitzia tavayit, just like by divorce there's a shtar, so by Kiddushin there's also a shtar. So the Gemara says, Umaros, who says that we should say it that way? Maybe we should say it the other way. Makish yitzia lahavaya, just like kesef is good for Kiddushin, kesef is used for divorce, and the kosav law comes to tell me that only writing is by divorce, but shtar is not by Kiddushin. Says the Gemara, so now the Gemara says, mistavra, it's reasonable, it's likely, koi begerishin, when it says because of law by get, memayet begerishin, it comes to tell me only with a shtar and no get with a kesef. It's less likely to say koi begerishin memayet kedushin, that we're talking about gerishin and it's coming to tell me that shtar only works by get and it doesn't work by kedushin. That's less likely to say, and therefore it's more mistaver to say the drasha because of law b'ksiva miskareshes and b'kesef eina miskareshes. Says the Gemara, but Rabbi Yossi Aglili, according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, denofik le lahai kra l'drasha achrina. Rabbi Yossi Aglili uses in Masechtas Gittin the pasuk v'kasavla to tell you that you could write a get even on an aleph leaf, as long as it's not an animal, an animated object. You could write a get on anything. So he already uses this drasha, and therefore he doesn't have an extra to tell me that b'ksiva miskareshes ve'ena miskareshes b'kesef. Then how do you know she'ena miskareshes b'kesef minale? How do you know that you can't be divorced with money? Says the Gemara, we have another pasuk. Amakra sefer creases. Only with a document could you affect severance. Sefer karsa me'ein davar acher karsa, but something else like money cannot affect severance. Now the Rabbanan that learn it out from the Kosav law, high creases may have delay. What do they do with the drasha of sefer creases? That a get is only effective if it ties all connection between him and her. There cannot be any permanent strings attached. To the Tanya, if he says here's your get on the condition that you don't drink wine or you don't go to your father's house forever, ein zekrisis. That's not a good get because there's permanent strings attached. If he says kol shloshim yom, if he stipulates for 30 days, so then after the 30 days there's no strings attached, how is zekrisis? Rabbi Yossi Aglili that says that we learn out from Sefer Creases that Sefer is kairos but not money. How does he know this drasha, that there can't be any strings attached? Rabbi Yossi Aglili says it could have said Sefer Koras, and it says Sefer Creases, so we have two drashas. Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Mikoras Creases Kanafgale, he learns that there's two drashas. Rabbanan Koras Creases Loi Mashmulu, they don't hold that that's two drashas. So now the Gemara says, why do we need a proof for kesef, shtar, and bia? You know, we have a rule that you could learn out from a tzad hashava. So the Gemara says, what do we need psukim for all three? We have kiyikach that tells us kesef. We have Sefer Krisis that we have the Hekesh of Yatzav Haisa that tells us Shtar, and we have the Uba'ala in the pasuk that tells us Bia. Why do we need three drushes? Chada mechada lo yas. You can't learn out one from one, but teisei chada mitarte. We should be able to learn out the third method from the other two. So the Gemara says, hey Tasi, which one should we learn out? Loi lichtav Rachman b'shtar. Let the Torah not write us a makar for shtar, that you can be mekadosh b'shtar. V'teisei mahanach, and learn it out from kesef and bia. You wouldn't be able to. Because malahanach shekein hanos and meruba. Kesef and bia is a lot of pleasure. She's getting money. She's having the pleasure of bia. With shtar, there's no pleasure. Loi nichtav Rachman b'bia. So let the Torah not write it by bia. V'teisei mahanach, and learn it out from kesef and shtar. Malahanach shekein kinyon and meruba. Kesef and shtar work. You could buy karka with kesef. You could buy karka with kesef. You could buy karka with shtar, right? But you can't buy anything with bia. So then the Gemara says, "Loi nichtav Rachmana b'kesef." Let the Torah not write kesef. V'teisei mahanach, and learn it out from bia and shtar. Says the Gemara, no. Malahanach shekein yeshnon bal karcha, because bia and shtar are in different places. They could be done against one's will. Bia by yavama, and shtar by a get. V'chitema kesef nami bal karcha ba'ama avriya. You could buy an amma avriya with kesef against the girl's rotzen. Yeah, but that's not ishus. That's not something sexual. But ishus miya lo yashkechan. There is no against the will by money, which applies to something sexual. Now, as we're just getting underway over here, and we welcome in just joining us in progress, we welcome in who just joined us, Bruce Eisenberg and Richard Rosenzweig are the latest entries, as we have 28 Zoomers here for this beautiful Matzah Shabbos, and we are holding by the two dots, 2 lines into the wide lines on Daf Hey Amud Aleph. Rav Huna, chuppah kaina mikal v'chaim. Ooh. Rav Huna is of the opinion that you could do Kiddush. Now we know chuppah affects Nisuin, the second stage. It consummates the marriage. Right? There's 2 stages. There's Erisin and Nisuin. So Rav Huna wants to say that chuppah, if they go under a canopy, that's, you could say Hariyat Mekudeshesli, and you could acquire a woman with chuppah. Mikal v'chaimer. Uma kesef sheina machal b'truma. Ma the kesef doesn't allow the wife of a kohen to eat truma, kaina, yet it acquires her with kedushin. Chuppah shemacheles b'truma. When she goes under the chuppah, she's allowed to eat truma. Einoi din shetikna. Surely it should allow her to be mikudeshes. Says Gemara, it's not true. Midoraisa, kesef doesn't allow her to. Once she becomes mikudeshes, she's kinyan kasbay. She could eat truma. Says the Gemara, it's not true what you're saying. Kesef ain't a machal. Once she's engaged to a kohen, she can eat truma. Since he gave her the ring, it's kinyan kasbay. She would have been allowed to eat truma. It's only a din d'Rabbanan. Why can't she eat truma? That's only a gzeira. We're afraid that since while she's in Arusa, she's still in her parents' home. She didn't move into her husband yet, and her parents are Yisraelim. So the husband will pour her a cup of wine of truma, and she'll drink it, and then offer from the kais to her parents, to her brothers and sisters who wouldn't be allowed to eat it because they're Yisraelim. So while she's in her parents' home, there were guys that she shouldn't eat truma. The chassan will give her a cup of wine in her parents' home, and she'll share it with her siblings. Her siblings are Yisrael. They can't eat it. So therefore, while she's living by her parents, they made a gezerah. But midoraisa, she could eat truma, so you don't have the kal v'chaymer. Elaporachachi, says Gemara, rather, Oma kesef she'eino gomer. You can't consummate a marriage with kesef. You can't make nesuin with kesef. Let's say he was mekadosh her with a shtar, and now he wants to give kesef to consummate and make her a nesuin. You can't do that. Ma kesef she'eino gomer kaina. It does affect kiddushin. Chuppah she'gomer, chuppah that does consummate the nesuin. Eino din she'tikna, it should achieve the first stage. So the Gemara says, well, maybe not. Malach kesef she'came paidim by hekdeshus u'mayitz sheni. Maybe kesef works for kiddushin because its kinyan is meruba. Because you could redeem with it hekdesh u'mayitz sheni, which is not true with chuppah. Says the Gemara, it can't be because bia teichiach. You're mekadosh with bia, even though you can't redeem hekdesh u'mayitz sheni with bia. So the Gemara says, Mala bia shekain kaina biyavama. Bia works by Yavama, while chuppah doesn't work by Yavama. So the Gemara says, yeah, but that can't be the deciding factor, because kesef yochir, kesef doesn't acquire Yavama. The chazar adin, we go around, the deficiency of one, namely, the advantage of one, namely, that bia works by Yavama, is not by kesef. And the fact that kesef could be paid to ma'aser sheni and hektish is not true by bia. Hatzad hashava shebehem, the common denominator is shekaynin ba'alma. It acquires elsewhere, v'kaynin kan, and it acquires here. Af ani avi chuppah shekaynin ba'alma, it makes her nesua, v'kaynin kan, and therefore it should accomplish kedushin. Says the Gemara, well, Mala tzara shavashimem, the common denominator, shekain hanosan meruba, because kesef and bia has a lot of hana, while chuppah doesn't have hana. So the Gemara says shtar yechir doesn't have hana. I mala shtar shekain moitzi b'bas Yisrael. Shtar has another power that it could affect the divorce, while chuppah can't affect the divorce. Well, kesef bia echichu, that they can't affect the divorce. V'chazar adin, and then again we go around. In other words, the maila of the maila of kesef and bia, that they're hanos and meruba, is not by shtar. And the maila of shtar, that it could affect the divorce, is not by kesef and bia. Hatzad hashava shebem, the common denominator is shekaynin ba'alma, they acquire elsewhere, v'kaynin kan, and it works here by kiddushin. Af ani yavi chuppah shekaynin ba'alma, it affects nesuin, v'kaynin kan. Says the Gemara, but mala hatzad hashava shebem shekain yeshnon bal karcha. All of them can be done against the will. Shtar can be used for a divorce against the women's will. Bia could be used against the will by yibam. And kesef could be used against the will by Amavriya. Rav Huna, no, we don't count kesef because, as we already explained, Amavriya is not a sexual matter. Rav Huna, kesef miya be'ishus le'ashkan. By something sexual, we don't find that kesef could be used against the will. We don't find it balkar. So Rava finds two difficulties with Rav Huna's proposal that chuppah should affect kiddushin. Amar Rava, shtei tshuvas b'davar. I have two refutations about this. Rabbi say, we're about to hit 30 Zoomers, and the neighborhood is changing as we welcome in Marshall Castle for our 30th Zoomer of the evening. Welcome, Marshall. You are number 30. Number 30. I told you not to come unless you bring 20 people with you. Yeah. Boy, I feel bad for them. Good to
after our chol today, I got that.
Yeah. Marshall, we are holding, it's great to see you. We are holding 15 lines from the top of Hamid Beis. 15 lines from the top of Hamid Beis. What?
Can I add a name?
Yes.
Le'ilui nishmas Ruchama bas Elimelech Chaim.
We learn Le'ilui nishmas Ruchama bas Elimelech Chaim. Her neshama should have a lichtige Gan Eden.
Sure, thank you.
So Amar Rava, that which Rav Huna said that chuppah is kaina, shtei tshuvas b'davar. I got two problems with it. What are the two problems? Chada d'sholosh tanan. It says that you should niknas with three ways, right? Kesef, shtar, and bia. So three ways. V'dalid noitanan. It doesn't say a fourth way. So remember we said minyana limute. So it's coming to exclude chuppah. V'oid. And furthermore, and this is a very lumdishic question. Where do we want to learn out that chuppah should be kain? Well, we said, madach kesef does madach kesef does not complete. It's mekadesh. Chuppah, which completes, should surely be mekadesh. So we want to learn out that chuppah, we want to learn out chuppah without kesef from chuppah with kesef. Because where does chuppah work? When it's preceded by a kiddushin of kesef. And now we want to say that chuppah should work without kesef. How do we learn out chuppah without kesef from chuppah that was preceded by kesef? Because the chuppah affects nesuin only when it's preceded by kesef. And that's Rava's second question. V'oid, klum chuppah gaimra. When does chuppah affect nesuin? Elal yedei kiddushin. When it's preceded with kesef, shtar, or bia. V'chi gam rinon chuppah shelo yal yedei kiddushin. Could we learn out a chuppah without the preface of Kiddushin, make chuppah she'al yedei Kiddushin, with chuppah that was prefaced with Kiddushin? So Abaya rewords the limud. Let's see. Amalei Abaya, both questions we could refute. Hadamr Gimel Tanan, the Dalit Loy Tanan, it says three ways, Kesef, Shtar, and Bia, and not four. You know what? The Tana doesn't include chuppah since it's not from a pasuk. It's only from a kal v'chomer. It only says those things that are from a pasuk. Kesef is from ki yikach ish isha, shtar is from v'yatza v'haisa, and bia is from a bala. Tana milsa the ksiva behedya ketani. Milsa the like ksiva behedya, something that's not written beferish like ketani. Udika amrit klum chuppah gamra el al yidei kiddushin. Chuppah only works when it was first bolstered by either kesef, shtar, and bia. Rav Huna nami hachi kama. We're going to reword Rav Huna's kal v'chomer. Uma kesef she'enoi goymer achar kesef. Mandach kesef, that if you do a kiddushin with kesef, and then afterwards you want to do the nesuin also with kesef, it doesn't work. Uma kesef she'ena goymer achar kesef, yet kaina, yet it can affect kiddushin. Chuppah she'goymer achar kesef, chuppah that does affect nesuin after kesef, so that means chuppah is better than kesef. Einoi din shetikana, surely it should be able to do the first stage of kiddushin. So therefore, Rav Huna, according to Abaya, maintains his argument that chuppah is an effective way to do kiddush. Tan Rabbanan. Keitzad b'kesef. Now we're going to get to the nuts and bolts. How do we acquire a woman with kesef? Nosef lo kesef or yishav kesef. He gives her pruta according to Beis Hillel, or the value of a pruta. Va'amala, and he says to her, Hariyat mekudeshesli, you're betrothed to me. Hariyat meresesli, you're engaged to me. Hariyat lila into, you are to me a wife. Harizu mekudeshes. Aval he shenosna v'amra he. But if she gives the money to him, and she says to him, Hareini mukadeshes lach, I am betrothed to you. Hareini mureses lach, I am engaged to you. Hareini lach l'intoi, I am to you a wife. Eina mukadeshes. So now the Gemara asks, what about, as we welcome in Mo Kushner for our 31st Zoomer of the evening, must have been very hot in Marshall's pocket.
Where are we, Rabbi?
We are on Daf Hey Amid Beis, and we are holding on Daf Hey Amid Beis by Maskevla Rapapa, which is 6 lines above the wide lines on Daf Hey Amid Beis. 6 lines above the wide lines on Daf Hey Amid Beis. Now the Gemara talks that we have contradictory implications about a middle case. And that is where he gives her the money, he gives her the pruta, and she says that she should be mekudeshes to him. That's the case of Nasanhu v'amrahi. So we have contradictory implications over here. What would be the law in such a case? Let's see it inside. Maskver apapa taima de Nasanhu v'amarhu. That's only if he gave it and he said it. Ha nasan huva amrahi, but if he gave the money and she said it, ain't a mekadesh. But then aim a sefer, look at the sefer. Aval he shenas naloiva amrahi. If she gave the money and she said it, lo have a Kiddushin mashma. But if it's a split deal, time in the nas niva amrahi. Ha nasan huva amrahi. But if he gave the money and she said, I should be your wife, have a Kiddushin. So the Gemara says, well, Reisha Dafka, the implication of the Reisha is the correct one. The Reisha is exact, only if he does both, but if he does only one, it's no good. Seifa Kedinasman. The Seifa was just for symmetrics, but it's true even in the Seifa, even if he would give the money and she would say it, it would also not be good. Says the Gemara, V'tani Seifa Milsa de Sasal al Reisha. Would the Sefer say something that contradicts the implication of the Reisha? Ela hachikam. This is the way to read it. Nasanhu v'amarhu. If he gave the money and he said Ariat Mekudeshesli, Pshita Davi Kiddush. Nasanhu v'amrahi. This is unspoken. If he gives it, but she says it, Nase Kamisha Nasnahi v'amrahi. That's as bad as if she gave it and she said it, v'lo have a Kiddushin. That's one way to learn. V'iba Yisema, you're right, the unspoken split case where he gave the money and she said it, that's taka safek. V'iba Yisema, Nasanu v'amahu mekudeshes. Nasnahi v'amrahi, she gave and she said it, ain't a mekudeshes. The split case, Nasan huva amrahi, if he gave it and she said it, that's sveikahi. Because on the one hand he gave it, on the other hand she said it, that's a suffix, v'chayshina midrabanan. And it's a Kiddushin that we're mesupik, and midrabanan, a get has to be given, but they can't live together. Now, Amar Shmuel, b'Kiddushin, by Kiddushin, Nasan la kesef v'shava kesef, if he gives her money or the value of a pruta, v'amala hariat mikudeshes. Now here, according to this version, we're going to correct it, but according to what it says, it's called Yadayim She'ena Machichas. It's an ambiguity. Because he says Yom Mikudeshes, but he didn't say to me. Hariat Mikudeshes, Hariat Mureses, Hariat L'intoi, you're for a wife, Harizum Mikudeshes. However, if he says, Hareini Ishech, I am your husband, Hareini Balech, I am your man, Hareini Arusech, I am your betrothed, Ein Kan Beis Mechesh, there's not even a question that's not a good Kiddushin. Why? Because he has to take him to her. He can't just announce, I'm your husband. V'chein begerushin, and likewise by divorce. Nasan lo v'amala hariat mishulachas, you're sent away. Hariat megereshes, you're divorced. Hariat muteres, l'kol adam, you're permitted. Harizum megereshes, she's divorced. Eini ishech, if he says, I'm not your husband, Eini bailech, I'm not your man, Eini arusech, I'm not your betrothed, Ein kam beis mechish. That's no question. It's not a good get. It doesn't even ask her to kuhuna. Now, without li, it's yadayim sheina mechiches. It's not a conclusive statement. So Amalei Rapapa Labai Lemeimer, do you mean to imply this Sava Shmuel that Shmuel holds yadayim sheina mechiches when it's ambiguous? Having yadayim, it's good. Vatanan, we learned in Masechtas Nazir, ha'omer aha, if he says I will be, harizeh nazir. Vavinamba, and the Gemara wonders, when he says I will be, maybe it means I will be fasting. Vidil ma'aha b'tanis kam. It's ambiguous. Only if a nazir was passing right in front of him, and he said, aha, I will be, then we say he means I'll be like that guy. But time in the nazir of the fun of halav hachi, lie. So you see that yadayim sheim lechichis lehaving yadayim. So how could it be good over here without saying li to me? Says the Gemara, you're right, we have to amend it. Hacha b'mayiskin and da'ama li. So the Gemara says, if he says hariyat mekudeshes li, then duh. Ihachi ma'kamashmon, that's obvious. So the Gemara answers, that's talking not the Kiddush. The Kiddush is in the last case, where he says, Hareini ishech, I'm your man. Hareini bailech, that's not good. Lishnei basroi kamashmala. If he says Hareini ishech, that's not good. Because Hacha ksiv ki yikach, he has to take her. V'loi sheyikach esatzma, he can't just take himself and say, I'm your man. And the same thing is true by Gerushin. He has to say that you are permitted to each person, to everybody. You are severed, and not that I am divorced. Because v'shilcha, he has to send her away, and not to send himself away. And we just want to welcome in Abe Arbach that joined us, and Kenny, who just came in and joined us as well. As we pause a moment now to turn the camera